How we doing, everybody?
Hola.
Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggly With It. I'm Will.
I'm Adri.
And what are we doing today?
We are doing our top 25 games of all time.
We are still doing our top 25 games of all time because this is number 15 to number 11. If you want to see the other ones, go back. If you want to see the future ones, hit the subscribe button. All right. So we are going to start again. This is with our opinion games that we have played. We've not played every game in the world. We've actually played a very small selection of games. So we may be missing some games. Let us know down below in the comments which games we might need to play. So maybe they'll get on our list next year. All right. So with me starting this off on number 15, Adri, what is your number 15?
My number 15 is Tossy Mossy. Tossy Mossy is a little short card game about flowers.
Oh, how pretty.
It's very pretty. So you actually here don't build your tableau, but you build your bouquet.
Bouquet.
Isn't that beautiful? So each card has a color of flowers and an action or ability.
Action, ability,
action.
condition. Condition's probably the best way to call it.
And so you play one card face up, one card face down, and you have to select one of those cards according to what you have on your card. So you can say, for example, 1 point for all the purple flowers. So if you have the face up purple flower, you want to take that. But if not, you don't know what the other one is. So you may take something that is actually good for you or really bad. And you don't want to give your opponent the cards that they need.
Yeah, so you gotta be very strategic in how you lay your cards. Be like,
which one you want to leave face up?
Well, they maybe take this one, and I really want the bottom one for myself.
So it is really beautiful. It is really
Quick.
Quick. We played this at what do you call pub?
Pub. Brew pub.
Pub, and we had a lot of fun. It is a wallet game.
Wallet game. They call them wallet games by Button Shy. Most people recognize Button Shy because they're tiny little wallet games. But yeah, it's a fun little game. Nice little filler game if you just want something quick while you're waiting for your dinner or lunch or breakfast. If you go out for breakfast. If you remember to play it when you go out for breakfast, that's the key thing. Because we bought the 2 expansions, we took it with us to breakfast, and we forgot to play.
We were too hungry.
We were too hungry. That is Adri's number 15.
Tossy Mossy.
Tossy Mossy. All right. So my number 15 actually has fallen quite a bit. If you watched our top 10 new games to us, you'll see that another game knocked this one down pretty good. And it was number 4 last year. It's number 15 now. So that is Marvel Champions, the card game. So Marvel Champions, the card game, basically you're playing with a deck of a particular superhero's cards. So I can be Captain Marvel, Adri can be Spider-Man. We normally play it the other way around. I don't know why I said it that way. Because I was thinking, you would be Captain Marvel. So I immediately said I would be Captain. But either way, and you're going to have a deck of cards. You can play that deck of cards directly out of the box. Maybe not as optimized as some people would like. Maybe not good against all of the villains. But you can also enhance that deck by doing a little bit of deck building before you play the game. Not needed, but you can do it. What you're doing on your turn is you're going to be playing cards to basically activate your abilities as an attack or as a thwart or some type of, enhancement to yourself, or maybe even adding an ally that can basically be a meat puppet for you and just take damage from the bad guys so you don't take damage. You do have a certain amount of life. You do have to flip a card to 2 different sides, basically your civilian side and your superhero side, to be able to heal and vice versa. And everything you do kind of impacts how the boss is going to react. So the boss is going to have a normal attack, and then he's also going to have something where he schemes. And there will be these little locations that will have these schemes piling up on it, and if you get too many of them, you could go into a harder mode or into a B mode, or you could even lose the game if that is a lose condition. Similarly, if the boss beats up on you and takes you out, takes you down to 0 hit points, you're going to lose the game. It's more thematic than the other game that I say that took it down for most people. I do like it. I like it a lot more than Adri does. Adri's not much of a fan because it is complex. There is a lot of turn maintenance, where you're having to remember that you're doing these things. In order to be able to play a card, you have to spin cards. So basically each card is going to have a resource amount, which is kind of hard to keep up with. When you get to the boss, everything that happens here with the boss. Yeah, when the boss attacks you, when the villain attacks you, it's a 2-phase. Phase 1 is him actually attacking, and then phase 2 is him actually doing a plot against you. I forget what it's called, but basically you draw another card and that card does something. And then when you do that, you could get an effect called a surge, which then calls it to happen again. So it can get very out of control very quickly. There's also different difficulty levels. Even playing it at the rookie level, which is basically just defeating the boss's first mode, that still doesn't make Adri excited for the game. So it has slid down quite a bit because we play games together as co-op and we want to have fun playing them. I enjoy the game. I could probably play it solo. We just don't play games solo.
Maybe I just had a bad experience.
She had 10 bad experiences. We played this. You do know we played it more than one time, right?
I know.
She had 10 bad experiences. But that is Marvel Champions. And if you want to see what took it out, make sure you subscribe because that will be up later in the list. All right, so that was my number 15. So your number 14?
My number 14 is Canvas. Canvas is a very unique game in which you use clear cards that you overlap, and each card has part of a picture is creating a canvas picture. So you put them together and it is going to create a beautiful art. While you do that, you are going to collect colors and painting,
like little symbols, little icons that you're supposed to mean
symbols.
Art. Yeah.
So you want to make sure you select the one that you need. At the same time, it creates like very nice pictures, and I mean that's additional. That's like the second part of it, like the picture that you create. But it is really nice. It also has like names. Each card has a word, so when you put them together, it will make a name for the picture. I love that the picture, or that's an expansion.
The expansion has reversible cards.
Has reversible cards, so it's clear. The card is clear, but the image that is printed on it has something different in the back, using the same
shape. So say on one side it's a picture of a sunflower, and then you flip it over to the other side, it's a picture of a clown face. I don't know.
Something like that. Something that you actually sometimes don't expect.
I was like, oh, that's different. But it allows you to change the position of those two colors on the bottom, because the colors are always in the same order. So if it's the red and the yellow on the one side, when you flip it over, it's the green and the blue. Yeah. Because they just flip positions.
Yes.
Which is really neat. And the point of the game is, of course, the objectives, and that's why you want to get those symbols that Adri was talking about. You want to complete the objectives to get ribbons on each painting. Basically, how good that painting is. You get a blue ribbon and a red ribbon, and then whoever has the most ribbons wins. No, I like Canvas. Canvas is a fun game, very artistic, very thematic, and the way that it works. That transparent card is really neat. Did not make my top 25. So number 14 for me is Townsfolk Tussle. So we missed out on the Kickstarter. Luckily, we were able to reach out to the publisher. They were able to send us a copy, and I about wanted to tell the publisher that the game accidentally got peed on by my dog. It was a fun game. I enjoyed it. It was actually what made me realize that I think me and Adri would be more comfortable doing boss battlers than dungeon crawls, because I think we had done a dungeon crawl or two, and you didn't have as much fun, but we did Townsfolk Tussle, and that was a long stream, yet we kept going because we were having fun beating up on the boss. It's actually, unfortunately, the reason that now I went all in on Primal. So if you want to see Primal, subscribe, bell notification, YouTube stuff. But in Townsfolk Tussle, you're basically playing over multiple rounds. Each person has a character. That character is going to be able to enhance themselves through gear acquisition. The different gear is going to have different abilities, different points, and you're basically moving around a board which has different obstacles, different things that you can interact with. And the whole thing is you're trying to beat up the boss, right? The boss is going to have particular moves that it does. It uses a deck of cards to say what it's going to do. And you're going to do that over multiple rounds. In between the rounds, you're going to take the rewards that you got and then use that to then upgrade your character, get them new weapons, get them new equipment, to then wash, rinse, repeat, do it all over again. Of course, each subsequent round, the boss gets a little bit harder. It has new special abilities that get added on to the card deck that it's playing out of. It was just a very fun game. I like the way the mechanics worked. I like the way that the game looks. It's a beautiful looking game. The minis look great. It is very reminiscent of that Cuphead and the old cartoons, like the old like Steamboat Willie, or what's the rabbit's name? The little rabbit, the Disney rabbit. There's a Disney rabbit. I forget his name. There's a whole. I got a video game. It's Mickey, the Power of Two, and he's in that. It's something rabbit. Let me know down in the comments. I forgot what his name is. But it's very reminiscent to that art style, and I like that art style. So that really drew me in. New Kickstarters coming up. Probably definitely if we're going to reach out to the publishers, see if they want us to play any of the expansion content. Maybe they'll send it to us again. If not, definitely a game that I will make sure I don't miss out on this time. Unfortunately, it does mean probably going to have to spend a little bit more because of the world as it is right now. Things have gone up and gotten a little bit more expensive. But that is my number 14 Townsfolk Tussle.
My number 13 is Hues and Cues. Did I say it right?
Hues and Cues.
I said it wrong. Hues and Cues. Hues and Cues is a colorful game.
Colorful game.
So,
if the name didn't give it away, Hues and Cues. Well, no, the Hues did. The Cues maybe not so much.
Okay, so the cues are given by somebody. So, well, you have a board with many colors that go in a gradient
spectrum of colors, yeah.
Yeah. Many. I don't know how many.
I forget.
But
it's
many.
Like 30 by 30 maybe.
So you have on the shades of purple a lot of different purples and greens and so on. And you are going to select one. So there are numbers and letters. So you can just give like a, what is this, coordinates?
The people that are guessing give a coordinate.
The people that are guessing give a coordinate.
A coordinate, yep.
Coordinate. So one color is selected, and then the other person, or who is the one who is giving the cues.
The cues, yep.
Is gonna.
Or clues.
Or clues. Is going to say something.
So say it's a bright green. Say it's a bright green, they might say Mountain Dew.
Yes, so it's going to avoid, of course, using the color and say, or describe it using things.
Single words.
Oh, single words of things that you may know that have the exact same color. Yeah. So it is fun. It is a lot of.
We played it on stream. Not Extra Life this year, but Extra Life last year. And it worked pretty well. Probably would work better, of course, in person. We did buy a copy to take with us down to Colombia, so like it enough to do that. It is not in my top 25, mainly because when I think of board games, I don't think of party games.
Yes,
it's just not the way I think of games, and I think that's because I am slightly antisocial, so I really don't want to be around people and do party games. I don't like things being funny just because they're supposed to be funny. Fart jokes, I guess, would be the term, you know? So Hues and Cues is not that. But that kind of mentality hits me with all party games. Normally they all devolve.
But you like Apples and Apples?
No, not really. I played it because...
Kids Against Humanity?
Cards Against Humanity? Nope, I just got it because other people would probably play it.
But when you play, you have fun. Anyways,
as long as Cerveza is involved.
Okay, that's something. In this game, you have a little box that is going to be placed in the color that the other selected. And if the person who guesses is on the outside, right on the outside, gains 1 point. And if it is the exact same color, is 3 points.
And if they're one away, so basically the cube is a 2x2 around it. So if you can be anywhere in the inside, it's 2, middle is 3, and outside is 1. And the clue giver gets points as well for how good of a clue they get.
It's a really nice game.
Yeah, it is a fun game. I could see where it serves its purpose in a group environment. I think that's the thing. We don't play group games. So I don't think of group games when I'm doing my top 25 or top 100 or whatever. I'm like, well, this is a group game. This is not a group game. Which one would I want to play or more likely to play? It's always going to be the not group game.
Yeah.
It's just the way it's going to be because we play most games at 2-player, and that some of my games I think are more biased to that than Adri's. But at the same time, some of Adri's games are biased because she's like, do I like playing it because Will likes playing it? So some of hers maybe be a little bit biased too. So that was your number.
My number 13, Hues and Cues.
Hues and Cues. All right. So my number 13 is, of course, one of the types of mechanics or mechanisms. Everybody says mechanics or mechanisms. Again, let us know down in the comments which way I should be saying it. Fight in the comments, why don't you? But keep it civil. Is number 13 is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, which is a deck building game. One of my favorites is deck building. And Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, you basically, I mentioned it in the last video. So this one, the OP did the same thing as they did with like Disney Sorcerina, where you kind of get an introductory to the game. So it goes over the course of the years of the books. The first year, of course, is going to be the easier, and then it starts adding more rules and starts adding more components to the game as you go. One thing I like is variety, so this kind of gives you that Legacy-esque feel, except you're going to get an actual game out of it once it's all done. And in Hogwarts Battle, you play as one of the people from the movie, so Harry, Hermione, and you get a starting deck of cards. So each one has their own starting deck. They all play a little bit differently. Throughout the game, you're going to play your cards, you're going to buy more cards, but at the same time, you're trying to take out whichever villain is in the deck, and you're also trying to do that before, I forget how they explained it, but basically you get these little Death Eater tokens take over the locations, right? You can also, something that's kind of unique with this game is on another person's turn, you can actually get power for yourself. So they give you these little tokens to keep track of that. So I may have a card that says all other players get 1 power and I get 2 power or something of that nature. Or it may say all other players get to heal 1 or vice versa. So I think that's kind of neat that you're actually able to help other players not on their turn. So when it comes to their turn, they've got extra resources that they can spend. And you basically just work together to try to defeat everybody, move on to the next year, add more components. We've only made it through year 2, right? We did year 1, year 2. So we've not added too much to the game yet. I do know it starts adding things like dice and a bunch of other fun stuff as you go. We have both expansions, which just add more to the game, potions and different things like that. Really fun game, deck building game. Of course, it's gonna be fun. Theme, I like Harry Potter. My sister loves Harry Potter. My brother-in-law loves Harry Potter. I've been informed he loves it more than my sister. I think we need, no, Steven.
Oh, really?
We need to get Harry Potter Trivial Pursuit and let him go at it. On a stream maybe one time. Yes, that is my number 13, Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle.
My number 12 is Quirky Circuits.
Quirky Circuits.
Quirky Circuits is a unique game too, in which you have maze and you have a robot and you have some cards, and the purpose is to make the robot go and get some targets or some
objectives.
Their mazes are different.
Board, yeah.
Or the board is a book.
Works. Yeah.
So they are different. And so what is unique about this game is that you play your cards, so the cards have directions and turns, or it tells you how many tiles the robot is going to move, so it can get to the target. But you place those cards face down. So then the other player is a co-op game. So the other player has to guess what you did and what is what you want to do. So they continue to do the
programming.
The programming.
Well, because each person can place as many cards as they want. You also can't talk, so you kind of can't be like. You kind of like, you basically have to just put both hands on your table, and you're kind of like, I don't want to play any more cards, or I can't play any more cards, or something. I just like.
So then you flip them all, and you move your robot, and then you find out if you communicated well.
And
the robot can get to the objectives or not.
Yep. And the one we played was the new version that they released, which actually has 2 different characters in it. It's got a penguin and it's got we were saying robots, but technically they're not robots.
It's
It was a
a
penguin. The penguin on motorized tracks, and then a cat on a Roomba. He's basically on a little electric vacuum. But they both actually work differently. So they actually do different things based on if they hit a wall or so forth. Very neat little programming game. I don't think we've played any programming games. I don't think. But it was a very neat little cute little game. Gets complicated pretty quick.
Yeah.
Depending how well you can work together or read each other's mind without.
But I think that the more you play, you kind of like. I think we would be able to understand better. I mean, to understand each other better, or know what the other one wants to do. The first time or 2 times.
The first we played 2. We played the cat once and we played the penguin once.
The first one we did great.
Yeah, we did good.
Second one we might.
Not so bueno. But yeah, so that was your number what?
It was my number 12. Quirky circuits.
All right, so my number 12 was actually on my top 10 last year. So it did fall down quite a bit, and that is the Isle of Cats. And the main reason is there's just so many other good games. And a lot of my top 10 is still in my top 25. But Isle of Cats is a polyomino tile placement game where you are trying to rescue cats and build cat families. The way that you do that is by the different colored cats. So there's like red and green and purple. So on your turn, you're going to have cards, and you do a card drafting mechanism with the players at the table. You basically grab a card, pass, grab a card, pass, and then you pay fish to acquire those cards. On your turn, you'll basically play a basket and a number of feet or boots cards to determine the turn order. And then you're going to go out and rescue a cat from the board, paying whatever cost it needs to be. Again, and fish, because it's cats. You'll put that in your ship, and you're trying to cover up different rooms, basically to score different objectives or different point totals, and trying not to lose points, because there are rats on the ship, and well, cats eat rats, so therefore not having them is a good thing. Having them, you lose points. Each player can have a community objective or a personal objective based on the cards that have been drafted. So that's going to change your point scoring. There are treasures, there are maps, there are just different things that can impact how you place your tiles. It's just a very cute game. I'm one of the few times I say cute. I do like cute things. I like colorful things as well. Tile placement, it does a very good job of the tile placement. We've got a couple polyomino tile placements. I think this one is just the one I like the most. However, I've heard a lot of people like Planet Unknown better than this. We do have that, and we have to get that to the channel at some point. But I just like it. It's a nice, fun little game. It was a good game to introduce to our family. It was light enough for them to understand. There's also a family mode, which makes it even easier to introduce to people that haven't played before. Yeah, it's just all about, it's weird. It's one of the few strategy type games on my list. And that's Isle of Cats, which is number 12.
My number 11.
So the last one for this video, number 11.
Sobek for 2 players. So Sobek has an Egyptian theme, and it has little tiles that are placed randomly, and you need to collect 3 of a kind to make points. So was it wheat or meat?
Cows, gems,
milk.
Yeah.
Milk?
No
Eggs?
milk. No eggs.
No? Well,
I don't remember. But I know those cows, I know there was gems, and I know there was wheat. There's something green. Oh, green was wild.
You are going to collect them based on the position of the Ankh. So it is going to point the row that you can collect from. And then the piles that you make or the combos that you make is what is going to give you points. So you want to move the Ankh. So
based
your
on the way that the tile says you can.
Oh yeah, it will tell you what are the options that you have for that. So you want to make sure that that you move it so that your opponent does not collect what they need. And there are also characters that have special abilities. So it is not difficult. I think it is more difficult than the dragon pets. but it's really lovely. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a fun game, and I would say between this and Dragon Pets, which you mentioned, and you can go back and check another video. I like this one better. I just think there's more to do, and there's more strategy involved because of the characters, because of you can make a set of 3, but if I want to add to that, I have to have a whole nother set of 3 to add to that. So if I have wheat, I can't just add one more. I got to have another set of 3. It also has these little tokens that you can pull out of a bag, which give you points. There's also a negative scoring condition, which is tiles left in your hand, and or when you're on the board and you decide to jump over a tile, because you don't want the tile next to the Ankh, you want the one 2 away, you have to take those tiles as negative points at the end of the game. So I just feel like it has more meat to it, which as well, you've got it higher up on your list than Dragon Pets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was Adri's number 11. So next video will be in our top 10. My number 11, again, was on my list last year. It fell actually only 1 spot. It was 10 last year. And that is Merchant's Cove. So we've mentioned in previous videos, if you've watched all of our top 25 lists so far, I like player powers. I like abstract, or not abstract. Adri likes abstract. I like asymmetric player powers. I like variety. I like things being different in every game. Merchant's Cove gives you all of that. So Merchant's Cove is, some people call it multiplayer solitaire, but there is some player interaction with bringing in the boats and deciding which one's going to come in. But each person is playing a different merchant. Each merchant is going to be playing basically a different game. One is going to be playing like a potion explosion, marble drop game. One person could be playing a roll and write game. Adri like the dragon poop. One of them is breeding dragons, basically kind of doing I guess it's kind of like a match 3 game, right? Because you're trying to match so you can collect the 3 colors so you can breed a dragon. But everybody's playing different. There's tons of expansions they've released. They just actually released a new expansion, which of course we backed. We didn't get the prototype in time to play it for the Kickstarter for you guys, unfortunately. But you're trying to build goods. So based on how your character works, you're going to be building small, medium, and large goods. You also have certain powers you can activate by recruiting townsfolk, and then you can also lose points by what's called corruption. So during your turn, you're going to decide what you want to do, but you need to spend time based on that ability. So it's kind of a rondelle system in terms of you only have so many actions you can take before you run out of time in a day and the market's open. Once the market's open, all of the boats have come in with different color meeples. Adventurers is what they call them, and you are then going to be able to sell to them based on the pier that they're at. So there's a large good pier, a small good pier, and then there's a rogue pier, which makes you take corruption, but you can sell large or small goods there. So the object of the game is, well, get the most points by selling the most goods. It's just a really fun game. Every game you play is going to be different because of those player abilities. You can basically play, if you had to play each one of the expansions just one time, I think there's 8 characters right now. So yeah. Also, it has the art by the Micho. You guys let us know down in the comments how to say that. I think it was the last video that we did. We went through a whole debate as well. So that, of course, drew us in. Great little minis. I like the little minis. Love minis. Love also that there's going to be a rogue mini for the rogue character pack. Like the minis, lots of detail for a tiny little mini. Yeah, just a very well-produced, deluxeified game, normal Kickstarter game. Lots of fun, lots of variety, and that's why it's my number 11. I think Adri likes it as well, and if she likes it better than me, what do they have to do to see if you do like it better than me?
You have to subscribe. Activate notifications, and follow us on social media.
And all that stuff. Until next time, guys.
Adios.
Peace.